sliding board transfer may be utilized when a patient has sufficient strength to lift most of the weight off her buttocks and is balanced enough to move in the sitting position. To perform the sliding board transfer, the wheelchair needs to be positioned parallel or at a slight angle to the treatment table. The wheelchair is then locked. The patient's feet are removed from the footrests, the footplates are raised, and the footrests are removed from the wheelchair when possible. The patient moves forward on the seat of the wheelchair, and the armrest on the treatment table side of the wheelchair is removed. The physical therapist guards the patient by standing in front of her. The therapist is then in a position to also provide assistance in lifting as the patient does a sitting push-up. The therapist can also assist with the patient's balance by placing his hands on the patient's shoulders. The patient leans away from the treatment table so that the sliding board can be placed well underneath her buttocks. Take care not to pinch the patient between the sliding board and the wheelchair seat. The patient then returns to the upright sitting position with the buttock nearer the treatment table resting on the sliding board. Using a series of push-ups, the patient transfers to the treatment table. By straightening the upper extremities and depressing the shoulders, the patient lifts her body, sliding her buttocks toward the treatment table, and then lowers herself back onto the sliding board. She then repositions her hands and repeats the sequence until she is on the treatment table with only one buttock remaining on the sliding board. At any time, the therapist can assist the patient by lifting with his hands under the patient's buttocks. Make sure that the patient never grasps the edge of the sliding board, as her fingers may be pinched. The patient leans away from the wheelchair to remove the sliding board. The therapist doesn't release the patient until the patient is in a position that can be maintained independently.